Hello, fantastic first grade Sandersville Sharks. In today's reading lesson, we're going to be reading a story called Click Clack Moo, Cows That Type. As we read today, we're going to be listening for clues that will help us figure out who is telling the story. Our target is I can identify who is telling the story at different points in a text. So remember, as we read, you're going to be listening for those clues that will help us determine who's telling the story. Before we read, I wanted to share one little word with you that might be a little tricky, might not. Our word today is ultimatum. Ultimatum. You can read it with me. Ultimatum. If I give you an ultimatum, it's like giving you a demand, and that is final. You can't talk me out of it. Ultimatum. Be listening for our special word as we read. Click, clack, moo. Cows that type. This story is written by Doreen Cronin, illustrated by Betsy Lewin. Farmer Brown has a problem. His cows like to type. All day long he hears click clack moo, click clack moo, clickety clack moo. At first he couldn't believe his ears. Cows that type? Impossible! Click clack moo, click clack moo, clickety clack moo. Then he couldn't believe his eyes. Look, they've posted him a note on the barn door. Let's read and see what it says. Dear Farmer Brown, the barn is very cold at night. We'd like some electric blankets. Sincerely, the cows. It was bad enough the cows had found the old typewriter in the barn. Now they wanted electric blankets. No way, said Farmer Brown. No electric blankets. So the cows went on strike. They left a note on the barn door. Sorry, we're closed. No milk today. Are you finding some clues that kind of tell you who is talking and telling this story? No milk today, cried Farmer Brown. In the background, he heard the cows busy at work. Click clack moo, click clack moo, clickety clack moo. The next day he got another note. Dear Farmer Brown, the hens are cold too. They'd like electric blankets. Sincerely, the cows. The cows were growing impatient with the farmer. They left a new note on the barn door. Look at their note. closed. No milk, no eggs. "No eggs!" cried Farmer Brown. In the background, he heard them. Click-clack, moo. Click-clack, moo. Clickety-clack, moo. Cows that type? Hens on strike? Who ever heard of such a thing? How can I run a farm with no milk and no eggs? Farmer Brown was furious. Let's pause right here. Remember that whoever's telling the story is giving their point of view. A point of view is how a character feels or how they think. Let's read this first sentence again, what Farmer Brown says. Cows that type, hens on strike. Who ever heard of such a thing? What does this tell you about the farmer's point of view about the cows and hens? Farmer Brown got out his own typewriter. Dear cows and hens, there will be no electric blankets. You are cows and hens. I demand milk and eggs. Sincerely, Farmer Brown. Duck was a neutral party, so he brought the ultimatum to the cows. The cows held an emergency meeting. All the animals gathered around the barn to snoop, but none of them could understand moo. All night long, Farmer Brown waited for an answer. Duck knocked on the door early the next morning. He handed Farmer Brown a note. Dear Farmer Brown, we will exchange our typewriter for electric blankets. Leave them outside the barn door and we will send Duck over with the typewriter. Sincerely, the cows. Farmer Brown decided this was a good deal. He left the blankets next to the barn door and waited for Duck to come with the typewriter. The next morning, he got a note. Dear Farmer Brown, the pond is quite boring. We'd like a diving board. Sincerely, the ducks. Click, clack, quack. Click, clack, quack. Clickety, clack, quack. The end. Did you notice some of the clues that help us determine who is telling the story? There were lots of characters and lots of them had things to say, but there was only one main character that really told how he felt and how he was thinking. Can you figure out who that was? Yes, I think you're right. I think it was Farmer Brown. All right. Now if you will look at your graphic organizer, you are going to write whose point of view this story was written by. And then for something fun, think about one of the other characters. What if the story had been written from their point of view? At the bottom, you're going to write about that. If you were to change the story written by another one of the characters' point of view. Thank you.